Most railroads spread along anywhere from 1,800 I know railroads always had a good return.
February 8th.
So that's his date.
That's just testing. Let the record show at 6 o'clock. Call a meeting to order. Sarah, will you do the roll call?
Heidi Guggenhauer,
Here.
Linda Barnhart,
Present.
Eric Dahl,
Here.
McKenna Norton,
Present.
Tim Lewis, Daniel Gant, Michael Bush,
Here.
Ronald Short.
Present.
Okay, let the record show we do have a quorum. The first item on the agenda is the Sunshine Law. Speakers, do we have anybody that signed in? Okay, let the record show that there is no one to speak from the public regarding the Sunshine Law. Approval of the meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Oh, sorry. Guess we need to look at the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Mr. Goff. Do I need a second on that?
Second.
Second, Mr. Gochenauer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I'm sorry. I need to put my glasses on. That's what I'm out on. Put them on. Okay. Approval of the meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Motion by Mr. Goff to approve the meeting minutes. And second?
Second.
You can- huh?
Second.
Second, Mr. Truitt. Are you, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting minutes are approved. First item, we have 3 public hearings this evening. The first one is for Exit 23 storage.
Exit 23 storage, file number 2307-244 tied to 2304-123. The developer is Exit 23 Storage LLC. The engineer is CEC. It's located in the Falling Waters District, tax map 10, parcel 77. The site is located at 8050 Williamsport Pike, approximately 1/2 a mile south of Falling Waters Interstate 81 interchange. The developer is proposing a 15,000 square foot self-storage facility on approximately 1.72 acres. The developer is requesting a waiver to section 802.1.B.I.A of the subdivision ordinance 2009, requiring a 25-foot buffer between commercial use and a residential use. The developer is proposing a buffer reduction from 25 feet to 14.5 feet along the southern property line in order to compensate for the reduced buffer. The developer is proposing the installation of an 8-foot tall privacy fence. Staff recommends approval of the waiver to section 802.1.B.I.
Do we have anyone to represent the project?
I'm Marcus Spina with Civil Environmental Consultants, or CEC. So, as Doug stated, we are requesting a reduction from 25 foot to 14.5 foot. This is mostly due to the narrow width of the lot itself, and then you take into account the buffer space that is required of the ordinance. It reduces the usable lot area pretty significantly. As he said, we are proposing a 8-foot tall privacy fence be put in between the residential area that is to the south of that property to buffer and screen the area from the new development.
Okay. This is a public hearing. It's your opportunity to make comments known regarding this project. Ask that you come forward, state your name, your address, and any comments you might have regarding this project. And this is the Exit 23 storage.
There is no one. I move to close the public hearing.
Let the record show that there's no one to speak from the public. Have a motion from Mr. Goff to close public hearing. Need a second?
Second.
Second on Mr. Gokenhour. Are there any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Planning Commission members, do you have questions of the applicant's representative or of the staff?
Madam President, my comment about the project is, I guess candidly, I'm somewhat suspect of waiver requirements around projects that have divergent land uses. So here we have a commercial project proposed against residential uses on what I see 3 parcels next door. And as I read the regulations, screening is required anyway. So I'm not sure really what additional is offered in this case. So I'm having a hard time making a determination that this is not contrary to the public interest, health, safety, welfare, or is otherwise such an innovative design to require a waiver. So I guess of the developer, I'd just raise those questions to see what thoughts you may have as far as how this waiver is not contrary to those items, so that we can make sure that these requirements under the ordinance are upheld.
So I would say to you, yes, the ordinance already does require screening. However, with the reduction based off of the buffer, limiting the ability to develop the land properly, we saw that there was really no other approach that could be taken from an engineering standpoint to reconfigure the lot appropriately for the developer. And so as such, that's why we decided to go with a taller fence than say 6 foot that you would see in that situation. Additional considerations could be taken maybe into planning screenings, things of that nature, but at this time, this is what we're proposing, given the circumstances of the lot width there.
Planning Commission members, do you have additional questions?
I don't have any questions. I understand what the engineer's saying, and I certainly don't want to deem this property, or remove its value. But at the same time, I feel that this commission, or at least I feel that I should look out for the best interests of the neighbor. I would hope that they would have been here this evening, and perhaps it doesn't bother them. I don't know, but I know that I'm not comfortable with it. If I lived there, I would not want that commercial right up on my property line. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. Additional questions from the commission, please.
Well, it's beside it. It's to the south side. Is that some type of commercial location on the north side? Is that a garage or what is that?
I believe it's residential on the north side too.
It's the
Ambulance authority. So it's a house, but they're using it as the ambulance. So it's kind of old version. Although I'm looking ahead because I thought that was supposed to be provided in the vetting location.
So on the south side of this property that we're squeezing up on is the ambulance authority. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's on the north side.
North side. Be on this side.
Right here. This is ambulance authority.
But over here is the residential.
That's the one that we had talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Are there any further questions? Comments from the commission, please? If not, I'm ready for a motion.
Madam President, I would make the motion that this commission deny the waiver request.
Do I have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Ms. Gokenhour. Any further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. The request has been denied. Okay, the next public hearing is Meadow Crest.
Meadowcrest, file number 2309-302, tied to 2309-301. The developer is Panhandle Homes, the engineer is Fox. It's located in Falling Waters District, tax map 17, parcel 12. The site is located on the northeast corner of the intersection of Bennington Road, West Virginia 5, and Davis Drive. This project proposes 25 single-family lots and 2 duplex lots on 10.2 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The developer is requesting a waiver to section 801, table 8-1A, subparagraph 8, requiring 2 parking spaces on site and 1 parking space off-site for single-family attached dwellings. The developer is proposing 2 single-family attached duplex lots, with the remaining 25 lots to be developed as single-family detached dwellings. Each duplex lot will have 2 dwellings, which will each have a 2-car garage and an 18-foot wide by 26-foot long driveway. This would accommodate 4 parking spaces per dwelling unit. Since 3 or more spaces are being proposed for each single-family attached dwelling unit, staff recommends approval to section 801, table 8-1A, subparagraph 8.
Thank you. Do we have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening, Steve Sianovich with Fox and Associates, representing the applicant.
Okay. Again, this is a public hearing. It's your opportunity to make your questions or comments known regarding this project. Please come forward, state your name, your address, and any questions you might have.
If there is no one, I'll move to close the public hearing portion.
Let the record show that there's no one to speak from the public regarding this project. I have a motion by Mr. Goff to close public hearing, second by Mr. Gokenhour. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now closed. Commission members do have questions of Mr. Sianovich or of the staff.
A question, ma'am. By having the 2-car garage compared to a lot of what we've seen, that does allow for additional vehicle to be inside instead of outside. So
I'd also add the footprint that we're working with on these 2 duplexes is very similar to the Cardinal Point villas and the villas that are within Spring Mills Phase 11. So they have a rather large footprint compared to some of the other duplex type of structures that we've encountered over the years.
you ready for motion?
Yes.
Make a motion that we accept staff recommendation for approval of the waiver to section 801, table 8-1A8.
Second.
Second, I have a motion by Mr. Gokenhour, second by Mr. Goff, to accept staff recommendations and as to grant the waiver. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Motion passed. The last public hearing we have is for Riverside Fast Food.
Riverside Fast Food, file number 2309294. The developer is Washco Developments. The engineer is Ecoland Solutions. The project is located in the Falling Waters District, tax map 6, parcel 262. The site is located at the intersection of Corporate Boulevard and Winchester Pike, also known as US 311, approximately 500 feet south of the I-81 interchange. The developer is proposing a 3,450 square foot fast food restaurant on 1.22 acres to be served by public water and sewer. The developer is requesting a waiver to 801 Table 8-1B, subsection 16 of the subdivision ordinance 2009, requiring one parking space for every 50 square feet of gross floor area. This site would be required to have 69 parking spaces, which staff feels to be egregious. The Institute of Traffic Engineers ITE manual requires 43 spaces based on the proposed use's trip generation. The developer is proposing 44 spaces, including 2 ADA accessible spaces. Staff recommends approval of the waiver to section 801, table 8-1B, subsection 16.
Okay, do we have anyone to represent the project?
Good evening. My name is Michael Wren. I'm with Eco Land Solutions. You're representing the applicant.
Okay, this is a public hearing. It's your opportunity to make your comments known. Please come forward, state your name, your address, and any comments you might have.
My name is Steve Moose. I live in Riverside Villages, right up the road from that project. We oppose the project in total because Corporate Boulevard is a two-lane up and down north-south. I'm sorry, east-west. And we already have a Dunkin' Donuts that was approved opposite that. And in the morning right now, it's a lot of traffic. We have school buses too. And I don't know how you're going to be able to get in and out of there on Corporate Boulevard if there's no cut-in off 11 like you have the Dollar Tree and the fireworks that is right next to it. And naturally, when that's a McDonald's or fast food or whatever it may be, people are going to come right up the highway. It's going to just be jammed. We have 249 homes in our development. There's another 260 on the other side behind Food Light, and there's going to be more going up. There's apartments up there now, so I don't know how you did this.
Are there any other questions from the public before we answer these?
I live there too. But I live in the house, so friendly. My suggestion would
Let's first have your name.
John Millard.
Okay,
I
thank you.
live at 151 Brandon.
Okay,
But the traffic in the mornings, right now, you can't get in and out. And because Dunkin' Donuts has the traffic, there is no other entrance but there. And then in the afternoon, they're not very busy, so if they're gonna put a fast food place there, it's gonna be worse. And the buses that come through, we're the only development that go through, because we're so many kids. But the other entrance to get in and out is where the ambulance authority is, Berkeley ambulance, bottom of Brandenburg. And if the traffic route's there to get in and out, you can't ever get in and out there if it's traffic on 11. Unless they put a traffic circle or a stoplight there.
okay.
The alternative was either make the entrances of 1 to 11 or do something on the Brandenburg side for traffic.
Do you want to answer these questions, please?
Is that Corporate Boulevard, does it come out onto 11? Is it controlled by a signal?
Yeah, there's a signal there at Corporate Boulevard and 11. And as best we could tell, which I don't think DOH has played it yet because it's still too early, this was kind of cooked in the original traffic study for these trip generations out here. Whether, I believe it was considered commercial, but I have to go back and look at that study. But the DOH hasn't weighed in yet on this as far as whether a TIS will be required. And in kind of looking at the timings there, the signal, it looked like there was capacity left over. But we have to wait for DOH to make that call, whether they say if this signal is operating at D or worse, then they're going to require a traffic study.
But this waiver request this evening is about parking spaces.
Parking holders. Right.
Parking.
And we do agree, you've heard this before, we do know that our parking tabulations are a bit egregious. And our driver, the two drivers are storm water. We don't want an excess of parking generating excessive dirty storm water. And we don't want to see a sea of parking unused. And in this case here, the fast food restaurants are predominantly driven by their in and out windows. And they do have all the required stacking and queuing for both the ordering and pickup. And that's predominantly where we feel that the parking from ITE out of their trip generation is much more accurate than what we have for the square footage size. So we do support for that. As far as the traffic control goes on the outside, that's not part of this waiver. However, at sketch plan, the applicants are only making that initial entrance permit application to DOH. And their timing is sometimes 3 to 4 months of really getting any answers.
Is there any thoughts, Mr. Wren, if the traffic study produces negative comments, do you have a fallback plan B?
We have not.
Okay.
We didn't want to spend that effort until, after the sketch plan, after we, knew we were dealing with, knowing that the site is restricting on a couple sides, so we want to use basically what was mentioned, as a McDonald's template. The biggest we put in our, public parking. That's good.
Okay.
We did for the ITE.
Okay, if we grant the parking waiver this evening, does that bear any decision on the traffic? If we grant the if they go to the traffic study and say we've got parking approved, does that bear any influence on whether or not?
In their defense, the traffic engineer is going to use ITE's trip generator, which is where this parking number of 44 is being gotten from. They're going to use that number to analyze any intersection as to what comes out of this development. So granting of the parking waiver does not hurt does not
encourage?
Yeah, I mean, in all actuality, the traffic engineer is going to go to the ITE enabler. That's where we pull that trip generation rate, and we're going to apply it to this square footage. So, giving them the parking waiver only allows them to fit their proto and everything on here. They still have to clean up traffic with DOH. And that's what we're waiting on is if DOH says there's no capacity on the signal, then a traffic study would need to be initiated, and then whatever improvements out of that DOH thing would have to go back to, and we would also see that traffic study with
Okay.
So is this area all fast foods?
I'm sorry, sir.
This parking that we're developing is it for fast food restaurants?
Yes.
Is that what it's? Because why I asked that, we're strictly talking about parking now. You got layouts for handicap, but in today's world with where we are with restaurants and stuff, you also have call-in orders where you have people pull into spots designated for pickup.
We don't really have any requirement for that in the ordinance.
I know you don't.
And ITE is rather silent with that as well, so I don't know how to answer that. we know that it does occur, there is DoorDash.
It's
there
a
is
very
Grubhub.
growing,
Yes, I understand.
just about every
Some
restaurant.
restaurants actually have a designated parking.
They do,
space.
a lot of them
We
do.
would not be opposed to that. I don't think it's gonna hurt the camp. I don't think anyone's gonna be not serviced with having the parking reduced to the 44 spaces. I think there's still gonna be adequate parking. We don't exactly agree with the location of the ADA spaces.
Unless it's Chick-fil-A, then you won't have enough support, that's why it's.
So I think the main thing in the fast food, especially the vendor that we think this is, it's more important to have a queue and the stacking through the drive-through. That's what holds up 9 times out of 10. That is what causes us spread out to the street.
Any further questions? Comments from the planning commission?
I mean, the waiver alone is about the parking spaces.
That's
The engineer is okay with that, so I'm prepared to make the motion to approve.
We have to close the public hearing first.
Move to close public hearing if there are no more comments.
Second.
Okay, if there's no more comments from the public, I have a motion from Mr. Goff and second by Mr. Truitt to close the public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the public hearing is now closed. Okay, now I think we beat this around a little bit, for the public hearing, so, you're ready for a motion?
I have one more comment,
All right.
Madam President.
Sure.
Mr. Wren, is there room conceptually for a third accessible parking space? The reason why I ask is because it seems like we're doing a rough justice analysis of the ITE numbers versus what's in the ordinance, thus the foundation for the waiver. But we're not that, I mean, looking back to the ordinance, if we're at 44 parking spaces, we're not that far off from the 51 that would generate the third accessible parking space. So I'm just wondering whether 2 accessible parking spaces are enough for a plan that would have otherwise required 69 parking spaces. So I'm just asking conceptually, is there room for a third ADA spot?
It's something we can revisit. It is, as you know, a restricted area in there. The buffer on the one side, the 25-foot buffer, is a whole lot. It would go to a lot more space if that wasn't there. That's hard to answer that point, actually.
Okay.
But that is something we can revisit.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And Doug, for the staff perspective, you mentioned you'd rather see the accessible spots somewhere else.
I'd rather see them somewhere else, but just remember, ADA is federal guidelines. And that is that count. We don't ask for extra spaces. But also remember, it's not just an extra space you will have to add. You will have to add another 5-foot access out on top of it. So instead of having 9 by 9 foot wide space, he's gonna have to make room for 14 feet, because he's gonna have to put the 5-foot access as well. So, that is, that 14 foot may be tough.
So just to, so I can say it like as I understand it, I guess. So if you were just to add a third ADA spot next to your 2 that you have now, would that take your total parking from say 44 to 40 spots or 39 spots?
He's gonna lose his space, he's gonna lose his 2 spaces.
Yeah.
Because 2 spaces are 18 feet, and by the time you put the 9-foot space in with a 5-foot access aisle, which you must have, that's 14
Right.
feet.
Yeah, I don't intend to oppose the waiver at all. I just, if you can find more space, 2 just seems light to me for a public restaurant, which is why I ask. So I don't have any further questions.
Look at that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Ready for a motion?
Yes, ma'am. Like I say, being we're dealing with parking only, we're not dealing with
Right.
the trips or anything else. Make a motion, we accept staff recommendation for approval of the waiver, section 801, table 81-B.
Second.
I have a motion with Mr. Gokenhour, second with Mr. Goff, to approve the parking waiver request for Riverside Fast Food. Are there any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Okay, that concludes our business on the agenda. Staff, do you have anything?
Number 2 adjourned.
Okay, we have a motion at 6:30 to adjourn
Second.
by Mr. Goff, second by Mr. Truitt. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?